first is start where we left off last week. Now, I hope you've still got your plans of how the book kind of unfolds when it's all in one bit. And where I want to start tonight is page 8 and page 10, which are, I don't know how much, hang on, see how much I'm going to get in, which are these pages here, these two. So I'll just show you this one because it'll make, so we've got the flap, which is this bit, and we'll come back to inserts in due course. And then we've got this pocket down here with a little pocket on top that I just popped a couple of little photo mats in to kind of form closures. Okay, so oh, Miranda, I'm going to suggest then, would I be right in saying that you're using craft consortium papers? Am I right? But I am, because they are really rather luscious. So that's what we're going to start with tonight. And we need to cut 2 of them. So, where did I put my... Right, here are the bits that I've kind of done. So this is going... Let me just double check. I'm second guessing myself now. I don't even know what I'm doing. Yeah, okay. Right, last week...
How was the weather where you are?
How is the weather? Well, it's been very, very wet here. We're right in the middle of the UK and we've missed out on all the snow. Oh, photo play. Oh, I don't know that one. I'll have to have a look. But I know loads of people have had snow. Jane's had snow, haven't you, Jane? You've had snow, and Sue's had snow.
No.
But we haven't had any yet, and it's not fair because we like snow more than anybody else on the planet. Hi, Sue. I was just talking about you. You've had some snow, haven't you? Beautiful snow. Oh, man. Everybody's having snow. 14 inches, Dee. Right. We're moving. We're moving. Love the snow. So jealous. Yeah, Sally Ann, you're so right. I love snow. Right, so what we're going to do now, the bit that we're going to do now, that pocket, we've got, do you remember, we did our stacked pockets, and then on the other side we've got that little pocket. And then last week we did this this sort of like slanted pocket with the 2 bits that go over. Well, we're going to turn this over now, and this is where we're going to put this pocket. Now, I made a mistake because I was a bit dim, and we've actually got a slot here that we shouldn't really have. So you've got a choice. You can either just stick a bit of glue on and you'll never ever know, or we can think about sticking something in it, but I'll have a think about that. But just to warn you that that slot that we've got there, we shouldn't really have. But it's a design feature. That's what it is.
Yeah, Dee says you can move to her place in Northam.
Oh, yeah. I'd definitely move anywhere where there's lots of snow. Our cunning plan is to move to Canada when we retire. And New Hampshire, is it, Dee? New Hampshire? Okay, that sounds like a possibility then. As long as there's snow, that's fine. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to add these pockets onto the back of these bits. So if you remember, we've got this bit with the flap, and we've got this one bit that hasn't got anything on it, and that is where we're going to attach the bits that we're going to do tonight. So let me grab my trimmer and some of my white card. I still haven't put these things back on my trimmer properly. These things that you made. I need to do that.
Yes.
I know, it's terrible. Right, let me just grab some card.
Jill says, is that not where we join the pages together?
No, not that bit. This where we join the pages together, right? Just say this is my left hand side. So there, at the moment, we've got a bit that goes all the way through, which wasn't very smart of me, really. But we need to keep it open. We'll do that bit at the end. It'll be so much easier and less confusing. Righty-ho. Okay, so pages 8 and 10. I've put on the cutting guide, I put for 1, but we need to obviously cut 2 because we've got 2 sides to do. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm saying cut 1 on the cutting guide, but really I mean cut 2. So cut 2 at 5.5 by 6 3/4. Okay, and these are the flat bits. What did I say? 5.5. 5.5. Yeah, 5.5 by 6 3/4. Okay, and then we need to cut the big pockets, which obviously we're going to have to cut 2 of these, which are 6.5 by 7 3/4. Yeah. So 7 3/4 by 6.5. Okay, I'm going to leave that because that's a big piece and I might need it for something else. I don't tend to throw anything away until I'm finished. So 7 3/4 by 6.5.
Somebody's having that trimmer for Christmas.
Ooh! It's a great trimmer. And don't forget, the only downside, Joan, to this trimmer is that there's no measurements here between 5.5 and 6 and a bit, which is a pain in the butt because those are measurements that you use a lot. However, Mark has worked out the most amazing solution to this. Mine's really battered because I made the mistake of not listening to him and putting mine on upside down.
Print side down.
Yeah, so you need to put it print side down. But what he's done is he's done some measurements here that you can just print out onto acetate and then stick them onto your trimmer using double-sided tape, and it got those measurements on it, so it makes it so much easier. And if anybody wants to know how to get hold of that, just let me know. We've got a OneDrive that we use that we keep all the information in, and we'll let you have a link to that, and it's obviously free of charge because it's a community service, I like to think, dear.
Yes.
That's what we offer. So if you need to have the link to the workaround, then just let me know and I'll make sure that you've got that. The trimmer, Kim, is a Fiskars Precision. I'm left-handed, and which is why mine's currently upside down. And I've made books for many years, but I always cut by hand with a knife and a ruler because I could never figure out how to use a trimmer. I couldn't do it. It just wouldn't compute in my head. And then one day I picked up this little number, which is just the ordinary Fiskars trimmer, which is amazing. And it all suddenly made sense to me. Now, I love this trimmer. I've got 2 of them. I love it that much. But the only downside is that it needs a lot of replacement blades because when you're making all the time, you know, they go blunt. So I had a look at this one, which was a rotary cutter. So you don't have to, yes, self-sharpening. So it makes all the difference. Now, I don't know if they still are, but they were on offer on Amazon.
Yeah, they still are.
Because although we sell these, I cannot get them at this price because they are, you know, they can be up to anything up to 120 plus quid, but I think Amazon have got them for 60 something at the moment.
64.16.
Yeah, 64.16. I can't even buy that wholesale. It's absolutely amazing. So I really hate to what's the word, advertise Amazon, but it's such a good deal that I can't not tell you about it. So it's definitely worth having a look because you won't regret it, so long as you use Mark's workaround, because that's it's a nightmare without that, to be honest with you. Right, okay, so what we need to do now is cut the little pocket that goes on the front, and we're going to cut 2 of those at 5.5 by 3.5 inches. So we can use those little bits that we've just cut off to cut that. So 5.5 by 3.5 inches. Okay, right, put my trimmer to one side. And I'm going to get out my scoreboard. Well, it would be, but I've lost my... Oh, there it is. Hang on, I've thrown it on the floor. I'm always throwing things on the floor. Oh, reach it. Right. Okay, so let's start with the last thing that we did, which is our little pocket. And we're going to just score this. So first of all, we're going to score on the 5.5 inch side. And for those of you that are new to this, when I say score on the 5.5 inch side, I mean put the 5.5 inch side at the top of your scoreboard, okay? And we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and we're going to score at 5 inches. We're going to turn that round 90 degrees, so we're now scoring on the 3.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. So we've got a very plain, ordinary little pocket with 3 intersecting score lines, okay? And we're going to do the same on both of those. So score at 1/2 inch, 5 inches on the 5.5 inch side, and then 1/2 inch on the 3.5 inch side. Now, the biggest piece, which was the bit that we cut out the middle. Morning, Sharon. No, I haven't sorted it out. Well, I have sorted it out, yes, Sue. Yes, it's done. I just haven't posted it anywhere. I'll get round to it eventually. You know what I'm like. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, I'll get round to it. Oh, hi, Axel. Give him a kiss from me, Ellie. Tell him to sleep well. Okay, so the pocket itself is done in exactly the same way. We are scoring on the 7 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch and at 7 1/4 inches. Scoot that round 90 degrees, so we are now scoring on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. And that's exactly the same for both of them. So scoring on the 7 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch and 7 1/4 inches, scoot it round, and we're going to score on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. Right, lastly, these flaps, dead easy. We're only going to make one score mark, and that is on the 5.5 inch side. So 5.5 inch side at the top, score at 1/2 inch. 5.5 inch side at the top, score at 1/2 inch. Okay, so you can put your scoreboard away now. Right, so let's start off by doing, oh, I've done it again. I've used white card that's like 2 different shades of white. Never mind, it won't show when I put my book together. Right, seeing as Mel's knocking about here, we're going to do a little bit of kinky mitering. So where these score lines intersect, we're going to mitre them, take some off that corner so that it folds nicely over, and we... Oh, Alison, you take care, darling. And there's nothing worse than going to sleep and waking up groggy as well. That doesn't help if you're not feeling so good. You take care. Yeah, so when you mitre, I know a lot of people just go straight across, which is fine, but I've found in the past that sometimes that doesn't always mean that when I fold the flaps over that they're flap, I still sometimes get a bit of bulge in it, and we don't like bulges in our flaps mostly. So I do it at a bit of an angle. So I'm going to snip up to where that, hang on, take my glasses off. I'm going to snip up to where that score line intersects, and then I'm just going to move my scissors a little bit so that I've now got a kinky line, as Mel likes to call it. A bit of kinky mitering. Got to be done. And we're going to do that on all 4 of our pockets. Okay, that's a flap, so I don't want to be mitering my flaps. Right, so I'm just going to snip up to the score line, shift my scissors around a bit. If you do lots of classes with me, you must get sick to death of me saying this stuff. Okay, and little pocket. There we go. So who's ready for Christmas? I had to go and pick up a new Christmas tree yesterday morning, and I went into the shop and there was nothing left. Luckily I'd ordered the tree, so I was straight in and out. But my goodness, are you finding this where you are? If you're going out anywhere, that there's nothing in the shops? Or is it just me? Luckily, I'm a bit of a Christmas freak, and we absolutely need nothing. But need is irrelevant. Right, I've lost both of my bone folders. How can that even happen? Oh, I've got my little one. I had to tidy up. That's the problem. Okay, so we're going to start with these big pockets. And what we're going to do is we're just going to fold on those flaps like that. And just burnish them down. Same on both of them. We might as well do the whole thing while we're here. Do all the prep work first. We'll do the little ones because, you know, why not? And then last of all, let's fold these flaps. Oh, that's not very good folding. And burnish that. Now, if you want to, you can always round the corners. It's up to you. Kind of like rounding corners, to be honest with you. I can't remember whether I did them on these originally or not, but whatever. Right, so those are all the bits that I need. Now what I'm going to do is put them together, and this couldn't be more cards, Lorraine. We haven't got any Christmas cards yet. Yeah, better do that. Right, so I'm going to start off with this one. So I've got this one bit of my book here that hasn't got anything on it yet. So I want this is where I find out that I've just done all of this work and I've measured it all wrong. No, measured it right, that's good. Okay, so this pocket, and do check. Hang on, I'll have to get some new glue. This, what was I going to say? Yeah, check that you're putting it in the right way up. That was what I was going to say. Right, new glue. Ugh.
Smooth.
Ugh, don't like that. That'll teach me to squeeze it hard. Right. Oh! It's dripping everywhere. Right, I'm just going to put some... Typical. Some glue on my flap. And I'm just going to add that to the bottom. Make sure you're putting it the right way up. So let's just add that to the bottom of that page, like that. I'm just going to find something I can just get this glue up with. Oh, I hate glue. I know this is a bit difficult to see, but ours is still up in the loft, Jill. Having said that, I bought a wicker tree skirt, which is something that I've wanted forever. and it's quite large, and it's in a box, and it's still in a box in the front room. Still, it's been there all week because I just haven't got round to moving it. Anyway, the cats have decided they quite like it in the box, so they jump into it. And then this is all very well, but once Loki's in, he can't get out. Storm's not so bad, she can get in and out, but Loki just is a drama queen, so I have to rescue him. Flap. Put glue on the top, and I'm just going to lay this at the very, very top of my page so that it overlaps the top of my pocket and lies straight. There we go. So yeah, I've got this lovely wicker thing which the cats are playing with. So I don't know. The thought was to keep them off the tree, but I think that it's not going to happen because they're more interested in the wicker thing, aren't they? Yeah. Right. So now I've got my pocket and I've got a flap to cover it. Now this is nice, except look, my flap just gets all over the place. So what I need to do is, this is why I made this little pocket. So that's going to fit on there just like that, so that I can put some tags in it, and that will keep that bit closed because it's a pain. So what's Mel anding about?
I have no idea. Some dotty.
What have I forgotten to say, Mel? What is it that have I missed something really important? I'm not with it today.
She said she's busy Saturday.
Oh, busy on Saturday, yeah.
I said yes, Saturday I feel something is happening.
There is. Saturday evening.
Is it?
Yes. Right, glue on my flaps. Yeah, Sharon, I think you're right. That's exactly what they think. Right, so now I'm gonna eyeball this because I'm brave. I'm just gonna pop this little pocket down onto my page. Hope to goodness it's straight. Let's find out. God, I'm good. And then I'll be able to pop my little on my ruder comments. Oh, yeah, okay. I know. Yeah. Ruth, take it off. Do what Ruth said. You need to mat this before you put that on there. But now you know how to do it. Okay? Good point, Ruth. Thank you. I'll pay you later. So yeah, it's far easier to mat that and then put the pocket on top, all right? So that's how we're going to do it. Yes, Jill, I did see that story. It was brilliant. Okay, so mat up that bottom bit before you put your pocket on. Good thinking, Batman. Right, okay, so that's one of them. Now I'm going to do the other one. Okay, so now I've got the other side. So I've got my stacked pockets and I've got this bit that hasn't got anything on it yet. So I'm just going to add that big pocket. Yeah, no, Ruth, you're absolutely right. That was how I did it originally, but I'm just not with it today. I'm too excited about Christmas.
And everyone having snow.
And everyone having snow. Well, I'm not excited about that. I'm really sad because we haven't got any.
No.
Do you think... Well, I don't know about a baby koala, but we've probably got several cats that we'll find in the tree at some point. Are you down under, Sharon? Whereabouts are you? Hi, Charmaine. Glad you weren't here 2 minutes ago.
I've got a brother in Adelaide.
Yes, Mark's got a brother in Adelaide. I don't know if koalas live near there, though, do they? I don't know where koalas live.
I've seen pictures
of
koalas that they posted, but I don't know.
Where did they post them to? Will they post us one? Right, okay, so I've done that pocket the right way up, miraculously.
He's in Adelaide.
Oh, Mark's brother's in Adelaide. We'll have to come visit. Got my flap. I'm going to mat that before I pop that on there. Good thinking, Ruth. Much indebted to you. Right, okay, so that's that done. So that all of that bit's done. So we can mat that whole bit up now. It's all good. So now I want to do the front cover. Now the front cover, if I look at my plan, is on one of the bits. We've got 2 pages that we haven't put anything on yet. As you know, we've got these 2 pages that we haven't put anything on at all. Okay, so we're going to work on both of these today in 2030. Yeah, it won't take us that long to plan it, I tell you. Yes, all right, Mel, we'll go to Australia as well. We'll just do a world tour. Purely selfish reasons, we just want to travel. So, right, the front page. Yeah, I'm miles away. Right, so my front page, what I've done is oh, sorry, just knocked you. I've got 2 of these slanted pockets on there, okay? Just like that. So that's what we're going to make now. And what they're made in exactly the same way, but one's slightly smaller than the other one. So if you grab your trimmer, and some card, we're going to cut 2 pieces, and we're going to cut one at 8.5 by 6.5 inches. And we're going to cut the smaller one at 8 by 5.5 inches. Now, that doesn't look right. What am I doing here? I said 8. Oh, 8 by 5.5 inches. Yes, that's right. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put, funnily enough, Tracy, I was talking about distribution centres this morning. You're not wrong. And my own courier service, that was the other thing that I thought we should do. So what I'm going to do is, all we're going to do on each of these is 2 score lines, and they need to intersect. So we're going to score, and this is on the larger one, the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. And then we're just going to scoot it round so that we're now scoring on the 8.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. So what I've got here is I've got 2 score lines that intersect. So I've got 2 pieces without, 2 sides without score lines and 2 with. And it's exactly the same on the smaller one. So on the 5.5 inch side of the smaller one, I'm scoring at 1/2 inch. And on the 8 inch side, I'm scoring at 1/2 inch. So that those score lines intersect. Okay? Now, what you're going to need next is a ruler and a pencil, or a knife, or something you can make a mark with. Okay? So, I want to do the larger one first. Let me just measure this. And I want you to make a mark on the opposite side to where the score lines intersect. So can you see, that's where my score lines intersect, but I want to make the mark here, and I want to make it at 4 inches. So let me just grab a pencil. Oh, miraculously a sharp one, and we're going to just make a mark there at 4 inches. Okay, and on the top bit, oh, I think it's the same, but I'll just check. No, it's not. We're going to make a mark at 3 inches, and this is we're making the mark at 3 inches from the left hand side, And we're making a mark at 4 inches from the bottom on the right hand side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut off these 2 bits here in between those 2 marks that we've made. No, not from the score line, from the absolute bottom of the page, the bit that we've cut, Ruth. Okay, so I've measured 4 inches from this very bottom bit here, so it's 3.5 inches from the score line. Okay, and then that bit up there, that's also from the edge of the page. 3 inches from the edge of the page, 2.5 inches from the score line. Because what I'm going to do now is I might as well, you can use your trimmer, but I'm just going to use my knife because, you know, it's just quicker. I'm just going to cut between those bits, those 2 marks that I've made. And I'm just going to cut off.
Is this the bigger piece?
This is the bigger piece, yeah. I'm just going to cut off that bit there, okay? So now I've got my where my score lines intersect at the bottom here, and then I've got my slanted bit there. On the smaller one, I'm going to make my mark on the right hand side at 3.5 inches from the bottom, so 3 inches from the score line. And then on the top, it's going to be 2.5 inches from the edge of the card, which is 2 inches from the score line. So I've got my 2 marks there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut between them. Okay, but you can use your trimmer. I just can't be bothered to get mine out. So what I've got now are 2 pieces that kind of sit on top of one another. Okay, now this is where, if you're a perfectionist, you're going to get your knickers in a twist about score lines and folding, but I don't care about how I fold them. So what, it's 2.5 by 3.5, I think. That's it. It's 2.5 from the top and 3.5 from the bottom. So where my score lines intersect, I'm just going to do that kinky mitering thing again that makes Mel so happy. And I'm just going to fold on that score line like that. So I've got my 2 pieces. Now I think, just for ease of use, I'm just going to mitre those corners as well. Okay, so I've just taken those bits off there. It's not imperative, it'll just make it sit a little bit flatter. Okay, so this is my big one. I'm just going to burnish those. Like that. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on the flaps of the smaller one. And I'm going to pop it on top of the bigger one like that. Now mine are pointing to the right hand side. That's a bit weird. I've cut that too long, haven't I? What size did I say to cut it? 6.5 inches.
Oh,
it does, but that's right. Oh well, never mind. I might just chop that off. It doesn't matter that much. Right, and then I'm just going to pop this onto the front of my book. So this is one of the bits that we haven't put anything on yet. Ooh, squished. You might like to have that. Just doesn't look right to me. don't understand that. What'll happen if I take that off there? I might take 1/2 inch off there. I'm just going to take 1/2 inch off this this offending edge here, because it is offending me. I've measured something wrong somewhere, and I think it was me rather than the measurements. No, I think it's me. I'm just... I'll just bodge it. I'm sure it's me rather than anything else. Yeah, that looks better.
Yeah, somebody else says it is the same.
Well, I've just whopped 1/2 inch off that and then just the same there, just to tidy it up a bit. I don't know what I've done there. No idea what I've done there. Oh, well, I've just taken a bit off. It's not the end of the world because you're going to cover it with photo mats anyway. But I've just taken 1/2 inch off that side and then measured it down there 1/2 inch and then just taken that off there, and that does seem to line up. I'll have to have a look at those measurements again. I've obviously done something wrong. I'll have a look. I'll measure those and then I'll update the cutting guide. But you can easily just cut it down a bit. Right, so some glue on that edge, and now I'm going to attach it to the left hand bottom side of my page like that. There we go. That is the weirdest thing. I don't even know how that's... Oh, I don't know. I'll work it out in a bit. Right, okay. Right, now we're going to do the bits that go on the back of here, okay? And then on the back of the other page, which is blank at the moment. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to make the flap that goes on here, which is, let me show you, this bit. We've got a flap here, and the flap has got this acetate pocket on it, and then it's got a long pocket on the back. We're going to make the flap tonight, but we're not actually going to make the pockets that go on top. We're going to do that next week. But what we are going to do is we're going to make these bits that go here. Now, I said to you at the very, very beginning that one thing that I wanted to change in this book was that I wanted to add another piece down there, because they keep slipping out that way. They don't slip out that way, but they slip out that way. So I have added that into the cutting guide. So we are going to cut a third piece that goes down here. So don't worry if it, you know, it doesn't look like this. That's why, because we're going to have a third bit, because I think it's just better that way. So what I want you to do now is grab your trimmers again while that's drying. And we are now going to be cutting pages 3 and 4. So I've done it again, the way that Mark hates it. And we're doing it the wrong way around because it makes sense to me. I know, I'm sorry, dear. So we're going to cut, altogether we're going to cut 4 at 4.5 by 6.5. So we want 4 of these. So 4 at 4.5 by 6.5. And then that extra piece that I told you about that I wanted to do, just so our things didn't fall out all over the place, are going to be 9.5 by 4.5, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you want 2 of those?
2 of those. At 9.5 by 4.5. Oh darn it, I'll choose 2 pieces for that. Did I just have some card? Oh, I don't know. It's everywhere. Then we're going to put the flap in. It doesn't matter whether you put it in now or afterwards. It doesn't matter, but we just don't want to decorate it at the moment. But we might as well cut it while we're here. And you're going to need 2 of these, and these are 10 by 8 inches.
Ellie asks, at what point does it tie?
We're not using Tyvek at the moment. It'll be when we come to make the spiny bits, but you don't even have to use it if you don't want to. It's not the end of the world if you don't, but it might help strengthen your spines, which will probably be next week. Possibly, depending how quickly we get on. Right, okay, so you can pop your trimmer away for now. And grab your scoreboard. And we'll score these big flaps first, these big extra pages. We're going to make 1 score mark on these, and we're going to score on the 8-inch side at 1/2 inch. And that's all we're doing for those. Dead easy. So score on the 8-inch side at 1/2 inch. Now, this is where it gets complicated, because we're only going to do exactly the same thing. The biggest flaps for the other page are 4.5 inches. Score on the 4.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. Now, all of these flaps are 4.5 inches. So no matter which flap you pick up, I want you to score on the 4.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and that's the same for all of them. All of them. I'm going blind. I cannot see a thing tonight. Did I have 3 of those or 4? 1, 4. Okay, now these smaller flaps that we've done, the ones that are 4.5 inches wide, I am actually going to round the corners on those because I do like these corners rounded. So I'm going to round the 2 corners that are the opposite side, she says, that are the opposite side to where the score mark is. So I've got my score mark there, but I'm going to round the corners on the opposite side. And I'm going to do that on all of the 4 smaller flaps, but I'm also going to do it on the 2 bigger ones as well. Okay, now each one of these flaps needs to be folded and burnished. You're right, dear. There's a lot of sighing going on. Are you upset we haven't put the tree up yet?
No.
No, I didn't think you would be. poor Mark wanted a hot chocolate earlier. I told him he couldn't have any cream on it or marshmallows because we were saving them for Christmas. It's not Christmas. All right, while we're here, we might as well fold on those flaps as well, on the big ones. Although we're not going to be doing anything with these bits until next week. Okay. Right. So, front cover. Let me just check this. Where's my plan? Yeah. On the back of the front cover page, now to me the back is the bit with the flaps on, but it doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is we're going to attach these flaps. We're going to have one at the bottom and it's centered east to west. One at the top centered. And then we've got these long ones and they're going to go down there like that. But actually, when we come to fold it in, I'm going to put mine that way around. So I'm going to start with this long one. Pop some glue on that long flap there. And I'm just going to attach that and make sure that it's central, top to bottom, like that. And on this one, which is the back of the front page, I am attaching that flap to the right-hand side. When I come to attach the other one, I will attach it to the left-hand side, because that's the way the book opens. But at the moment, we're doing the I don't know which one we're doing. Actually, have I done that? No. That one needs to go on the other side. Needs to go on that side. Because, let me just check before you stick anything down. What's on the back of the front? No, I was right. I should really learn to trust myself. That was in the right place. On the back of the front cover, it goes on the right-hand side. Stick that back where I had it. There we go. Okay, and then these flaps are going to go top and bottom, and I'm going to center them side to side. Okay, so when I come to actually put it, it'll be like that, which means that those little extra bits that we're going to make aren't going to shoot out this side, which is what mine were doing on my original, and I didn't like that. Okay. So I'm going to do the same on this one, and I'm going to centre it side to side, flush with the top of my page. Okay, so my page is going to look like that now, so that I can put my inserts in there and they will be just fine. Now, these pages, they're going to fit here on top, like that. But I would suggest that we don't glue them down just yet, because it will be easier. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but it will be marginally easier to put that big pocket on before we glue it down. So keep those for next week, but don't decorate them, and don't decorate this bit, the inside bit, unless you've already added that flap on. You can do, it's up to you. It doesn't make huge differences, but I'm going to leave mine, because then I'm not confusing you all with too many bits of paper. So I'm going to leave those off. Don't decorate that bit if you're not going to stick your flaps on, but do decorate the flaps themselves, okay? And you can either have it that way or you can have it that way. It's up to you. You can put a little pin in if you want to have a closure like that. Maybe you could put a little pin in like that, a little paper clip. It's entirely up to you, or you can just leave it as is. Okay, now we need to do the other side. So we've got one piece of one page that has absolutely nothing on it. So I'm now going to put these on, but I'm going to put them on the inside. Now the inside to me, like I said, is the bit that I've got the flaps on. I don't know why, it just is. So what I'm going to do with that is my long piece, I'm going to put on the left hand side and centre it top to bottom. Because my big flap is going to go down the right hand side. Okay. So let's just pop those bottom bits on. And the same at the top. Okay. And you can decorate up the, you know, these small flappy bits if you want to, because that's going to be your homework, is to decorate up what we've made this week. Okay. Now, if I've done this properly, the other side of this is going to be this. So let's just check. Yes, miracle. Oh, just let me put my flaps away. Right. Yes, it is. Okay. So the other side of that page that we've just made is this, which is a pull out on a belly band. Now we'll worry about the pull out itself another day, but we can make this belly band and decorate that up, which is this bit here. Dead simple. We've already made a belly band to go on this book, but we're going to make another one. Okay, and that's the last thing that I'd like to do tonight. So for the last time this evening, if you grab your trimmer and a piece of card, we're going to cut this big belly band out, which is the bit at the top, Mark.
Yep. The
bit that page 9, and we're going to cut it at 5.5 by 11 3/4 inches. Now, if you're in the UK and you're using A3 card, pardon me, 11 3/4 inches is already the length of your A4 bit of card. So all you're going to do is cut it at 5.5 inches, did I say?
Yep.
5.5 inches, okay? So length of, see you later, length of A4 by 5.5 inches. Belly band, dead easy. Scoreboard, we're going to score on the 11.5 inch side, 11 3/4 inch side, at 1/2 inch, and at 11.25 inches. So we've got 2 parallel score lines, okay, one at each end. Fold on those. Oh, burnish them rather better than I did. And now, on the back of that one that we've just done, I'm going to add my belly band there, right in the centre. And it's the exact same length of the folio itself, so no worries with that bit. And we're just going to centre it side to side, like that. Okay. There we go. So you can decorate those bits up for your homework this week. And then next week we'll look at those pockets, the acetate one and that long pocket. And I reckon we might be able to put our book together. And if we get time, we'll look at that insert. But actually, we might have to do that the week after when we come to do all of our photo mats and inserts, I think. It might work out rather more like that. Okay, right. Find my glasses. Yes, that's a good start. Where are we? How are we doing? Okay. Are we good? Have I missed anything important?
No.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Right, are we all okay with that? Brilliant. So nice and easy. Decorate those up. And next week we'll come together and we'll put our books together. So you're going to need your acetate next week, a couple of sheets of acetate, and you're going to need some plain cardstock and Tyvek if you can get it. But it's not the end of the world if you can't, okay? Brilliant. Right, guys, thank you ever so much for joining me this evening. And we'll see you next Friday at 7:30. Have a great weekend. Enjoy putting your Christmas trees. You can have the big flaps on if you want to, Sally Ann. I'm not going to do mine until I've put the acetate pocket on, only simply because it just makes it that tiny bit easier, that's all. But otherwise, yes. Right, enjoy putting your trees up if you're doing it this weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye, guys. Bye.